Hello everybody, J-Bo here, and I am recording this video specifically to welcome the new subscribers. And I typically am not a selfie streamer on YouTube, so typically you won't see my face in videos. But basically a little bit about myself. I'm 54 years old and I love firearms. And there's quite a few of them in here, which is nice. And Maine is a constitutional carry state, so I carry a firearm all the time, pretty much everywhere I go, unless it's prohibited, like federal buildings, post office, things like that. You're not allowed to carry them with constitutional carry, but if you have a carry permit, you can. So that means federal state parks and things like that, you would need a permit to carry a firearm in. So that being said, though, pretty much everywhere else is you're allowed to do that. Some cities have ordinances where they don't want you to openly carry. They want you to conceal carry. And I know that sounds counterintuitive to other places in the country where guns are banned outright, but they basically don't want the firearms to be displayed, probably because of tourism, things like that. Maine is a tourist state. And there's also places in Maine where it is national law, where if you have a slingshot, even a small kid's slingshot, you tuck that in your belt and you put your shirt over it, that's a concealed weapon. Constitutional carry does not cover slingshots. So you would actually get in trouble for concealed carry with a slingshot. And you could have a firearm in your belt right next to the slingshot, and the firearm would not be the infraction. So that's how that goes. And the same thing with knives. Good old-fashioned pocket knife, a small little 2 or 3 inch blade. I think you could get away with that in your pocket. But anything else is considered a concealed carry, and you must have it in a case on your belt in full view, open carry for knives. So you can walk around with this big giant buck knife that's a legal length limit. And but there's flip sides to that too. Constitutional carry also reversed the switchblade or switch activated blade. So now that is legal in Maine. So you have to be familiar with the laws of your state. And, like for example, take this out of my belt. I have a concealed firearm that I carry all the time. And so it's one of those things where it's legal in Maine. And I hope other states become constitutional carry states. It's been the law since 2015 here, and I guess you could thank the Obama administration for that, because they went after everybody's guns. And consequently, in Maine, because it's a rather rural state with a lot of hunting and things like that, we just went and elected a whole bunch of Republicans and instituted constitutional carry. So every time you get radical Democrats in office, there's usually a big swing in Republican voting and conservative voting, where people understand that they're losing their rights guaranteed by the Constitution. And they make all kinds of crazy claims like, oh, it's going to be the Wild West, it's going to be this or that. And Maine hasn't had any mass shootings. Now, I'm not talking about these inflated mass shooting stats you see on the internet. If somebody's, hears me say something like that, they're going to go Google and they're going to find 2 mass shootings from 1996 up until now. And technically, it wasn't a mass shooting where somebody went into a store or a mall and just started killing people. It was some guy that went loony and killed his family. That's not a mass shooting, okay? It's tragic, it's terrible, but it's not a mass shooting. So I'm not going to talk too much about that because YouTube likes to censor people and shut down videos, but you get the gist of what I'm saying. The more they try to instill gun control, the more Republicans get elected. So in a way, it's kind of good that they're doing all of these moves, massive moves, because basically it's pissing people off and it's getting people off their ass to go vote and be active, get involved in gun clubs and firearms and promoting firearms training and safety. And most people like me in Maine, my brothers as well, when we were young, we had the JCs, which is a local organization where they teach children gun safety, hunting safety. You watch films on the proper way of climbing over fences with firearms and how to do first aid. I also learned CPR, how to do a tourniquet, apply bandages, treat injuries, and so things like that are very valuable, and that should be taught to children of all ages when they're children. And I don't understand why safety wouldn't be a priority. So some of these blue states, California is one of them, they've made it illegal to teach children about gun safety because they don't want children to be taught about firearms without understanding that they're going to be adults someday and probably buy a firearm, and they've had no safety training and they'll actually be more dangerous. And it's just backwards thinking like that, just from ignorance. They just don't know. They honestly feel like they're doing something good, and through ignorance they're not. And you know the drill. So it's very important, instead of getting into arguments with people that are leftist, just present them with facts. Let them try to show their arrogance that they usually have and they know everything. But at the end of the day, they'll know you were telling them the truth. And just be honest. Be honest with people. So other than that, I don't have too much to talk about. I did want to talk a minute about people that critique my videos and how I speak. People speak different ways, and I have a tendency sometimes to misspeak something. I think there's one video I have where I had mentioned the TSASH handgun. Actually, this one right here, this 45 ACP, TSASH, SDS Imports. And what was mentioned on it was that it was, the company was in Knoxville, Kentucky. Now, I just have a tendency to space out and say things like that. And after I watch the video back, I'm not going to go re-record an entire video. And it really annoys me when I see videos online. They'll put text on the screen saying, I actually meant this. It actually detracts away from what you're talking about in the video. And I figure most people will figure it out and just be cool about it. You know, you're a human being, you misspeak, it happens. And if it was you, would you really go re-record an entire whole video where you just took a firearm apart and put it back together and discussed it? And no, you probably wouldn't. So I just leave it in there. And if people feel the need to point out other people's mistakes, which is seemingly what all social media is, they point out something you spelled wrong, said wrong. It's not like I come on a video and say, oh, 38 special is more powerful than 357. I just know it is. I mean, it's, if somebody says something like that, that's different. But misspeaking and, you know, like the name of a city or the name of a part, you know, like a recoil spring. One of my videos, it was a recoil spring and a guide rod. Well, a guide rod just didn't pop in my head while I was talking, and I was like, I'm searching the file cabinets, and I just called it this thingy, you know. Sometimes I'll just say this. One video I called the trigger guard a pick guard because I play guitar, and you get a pick guard on a guitar to prevent the guitar from getting scratched when you're playing guitar. And I just called the trigger guard a pick guard. So I had that pointed out at least a dozen times in comments. So basically, what I do is I just delete those comments. Most people know what I'm trying to say. Um, I'm not on here to win journalism awards and be, I'm just not. Okay, I'm talking about the item I'm talking about, and whether it's called a pick guard or a trigger guard, the video was about a shotgun doing a review. So the guard was made out of plastic and not metal, polymer, and that was the whole point of what I was talking about. So the point is still made. The topic is still there. Everything is still there. It's just now somebody's gone out of their way to point out a misspoken item, which I really don't know why people enjoy picking at somebody else's faults online. It seems to be something really enjoyable to people. I really don't like it, but I could go around through my comments correcting everybody's misspelling. I have scored better than average in college for reading, retention, grammar, writing, and pretty much cruised college writing and all that stuff. And it's one of those things where I was also a spelling bee champion in school for the state. So I could go through my comments correcting everybody all the time and pointing out their mistakes. Ooh, look, you misspelled this, or there's one O in lose. One O, not two. That's lose, loose, loose. I could say things, like, well, if you spell loose instead of lose, L-O-S-E is lose. Loose is L-O-O-S-E. So how do you loosen your shoelaces if you spell lose with two O's? Do you now use three O's? Loosen your shoelaces? I could make comments like that, but what does that do? It's just comes off as arrogant. It's ridiculous. It's really pointless. It just kind of ticks people off. So don't take my videos seriously. I just like to show what I know about, and if it helps anybody, that's fine. And I'm the first one to say I'm not a firearms expert. Don't claim to be one. And, recently I had a video about how to get a Taurus slide on a striker-fired pistol that was stuck because a part inside was broken. Pretty common part that breaks on it. And there's a video for that in my channel. And I used my brother's firearm for that video because he had that problem. Sent it off to Taurus and they fixed it. But I made a video to show you how to unstick the slide if that happens. Now, somebody had left a comment saying that they had a live round stuck in their firearm. So immediately I was like, well, don't use my video for that. That's not what it was intended for. You could kill yourself. Take it to a qualified gunsmith. I am not a gun expert. So, sometimes I will make comments like that when people leave comments because it's a safety issue. And I don't know what somebody's skill level is. But if they're asking about that and don't know how to unstick the slide, that means their skill level is probably amateur, beginner to amateur, I would guess. So I just try to be helpful. And I really appreciate everybody that leaves comments. I really go out of my way to make sure I try to reply to most people's comments, thank them for watching the videos, and I really, really appreciate people coming by. I'm not monetized. I don't make any money from this at all. I just make videos because I enjoy it, and I hope you do too. So that being said, I just wanted to make a video to say hello, and most of the time when I make a video, it's filming downwards at what I'm working on, so you can see that without all this. Like, hi, there's so many videos on YouTube where people want to be a celebrity and a star, and I don't care about any of that. I care about shooting firearms, having fun, and I'm going to be making a couple of videos coming up on some ammo purchases made recently where I had mixed results. One of them was Bellum 9mm ammo, which was really good, and also some Igman 9mm ammo that I got for $12.99 a box for 50 rounds. I had mixed results with those, but for the money, it was a good buy. They weren't highly accurate at 50 yards, we'll just put it that way. But they were through a rifle, a carbine, Ruger PC9 actually. And also I had some Agia 45 ACP, which they were just awful. They grouped well, but 18 inches under what I was shooting at on a sandy hillside on a dune. And it was literally 18 inches low and to the right. Good grouping, but they're two 1911 firearms I shoot all the time, and they're pinpoint accurate, right on the money, 50 yards. Bing, 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 bing. And these weren't even close. So there's things like that. And also I had researched that Agia ACP, and they were actually kind of underpowered for 45 ACP. They were a little over 800 feet per second, 828 or 830, something like that. Very low powered for 45 ACP, and I think that's what had to do with it. And it was at 50 yards. So things like that, I'm going to be making videos on things like that. And so you won't see me in the videos very often, which will probably make you happy. I'm just some middle-aged white guy in Maine. Who cares, right? So anyway, again, thank you for watching, and have a great week, great month, and shoot, be safe. Always be safe, safety first, and enjoy yourself, whether it's indoors, outdoors, whether you're in California and they restrict your ass to no end, New York, Connecticut, Massachusetts, wherever it is. You guys are the best to carry on this great tradition of firearms despite all the bullshit you have to put up with. I really admire that. I can throw my stuff in the car, zip up the street 3.5 miles, shoot all day if I want to, outdoors, walk around shooting everything I want, and it's not a big deal. And for you guys to go through everything you have to go through, like in California, where you have to shoot firearms indoors, and some places, I forget what states, probably New York and Connecticut or something, you can't leave your house with a loaded firearm. You can't leave your house with ammunition and your firearm. So you have to bring your firearm to a range, and then you have to buy the ammo at the range that you're going to use at the range. There's so much nonsense like that. And they're just doing it on purpose to make it difficult, so you want to quit and not shoot. So that's really, I want to commend you guys for keeping in value the Second Amendment and putting up with all of that. You have no idea how many people in the state of Maine see you guys online and really appreciate what you guys have to go through. Even just buying firearms, you have a preferred list that will be allowed for you to purchase, which usually includes a tax for that state, like California. So a $250 shotgun here will cost you $350 there or more, and you guys pay it. It's amazing to me. So anyway, thank you very much for watching. I really appreciate it. Bye-bye.